Welcome back to PNC's News Now. Well, welcome, Joanna O. and
Hello.
Hello.
So we all know this song, right? Ready, set, go.
Rain, rain, go away. Come
Okay.
I don't know the words.
Well, that's the only part I know, so it's okay. Unlike the song, it seems like the rain will stay with us for a quite long this time. NWS originally said expect partly cloudy with isolated showers for tomorrow. That also means partly sunny. But this afternoon, they crossed that out and said expect mostly cloudy with isolated showers tonight, tomorrow, as well as Sunday. Now, NWS did this change for a few reasons, but they're different from the reasons that I explained throughout the week. Remember the shear line that brought the rain last Tuesday and Wednesday? That shear line is actually quite far away from us. It is located near Pagan Island, which is north of Saipan. Then why was it rainy today? Because there is another shear line. Easy reason, right? NWS says this is producing lots of clouds and isolated showers. Winds are expected to blow towards northeast tonight and on the weekend. The speed will vary from 10 to 20 for tonight and Saturday, but it will increase up to 25 miles per hour starting Saturday night and throughout Sunday. This increase of wind speed is because of intense meetup of high pressure of the north and low pressure down the south. And what we need to note from this intense meetup is that two pressures can bring us the wind speed of up to 30 miles per hour at times by Monday night or Tuesday. So 30 miles per hour, people don't take it very seriously, but when we talk about speed of 30 miles, that is equivalent to top speed of white-tailed deer. Can you run faster than a deer? I can't.
Oh, how did you get that?
White-tailed deer.
I actually searched.
Wow.
But it's actually slower than the speed of giraffe. Giraffe is top speed is 32.3 miles per hour. So easier sold for the fact that winds will be strong, but not as strong as giraffe.
So as strong as a white-tailed deer or maybe like a baby giraffe?
The temperature is expected to drop a few degrees because the mid-latitude air is coming in on. Expect lows around 75 to 6 and highs near 86. And to answer your question, you can search internet yourself.
What is the top speed of a baby giraffe?
Good answer. All right, thank you, Joanna, for that report. Well, have you noticed all the temporary license plates on the roads lately? It's because the Department of Revenue and Taxation is out of license plates. That's right, you heard me right. Rev and Tax Director John Camacho tells us they ran out of plates to issue because there was a large number of residents who registered their new vehicles last month. Woohoo, Christmas. Under Guam law, temporary plates from car dealers are only valid for 60 days. He says, don't worry. They already placed the order for the license plate, but because of a shipping delay, they don't expect to give out plates until the 20th. Camacho says once the plates are in, they will distribute them to the various car dealers.
Governor Eddie Calvo says his financial team has identified a potential $10 million in savings if he's given the authority to refinance some bonds. The governor, his fiscal team, GITA, and bond counsel are working on drafting up legislation that would give him the authority to refinance the outstanding Government of Guam 2007 general obligation bonds with GovGuam business privilege tax bonds. These refinanced bonds would have a lower interest rate.
We will be able to refinance some of our older debt and bring some direct savings to the tune of about $10 million in debt service. And that's part of what occurs when we get our financial house in order and investors and credit rating agencies have confidence in us. Interest rates go down for us.
The governor will need to refinance the bond by March in order to maximize savings.
A whole new task force has been established in the Navy Expeditionary Forces for the Pacific. PNC's Betsy Brown tells you about Task Force 75 and their mission.
A new task force has been developed within the Navy Expeditionary Forces Command Pacific. Task Force 75 will execute operations for crisis response and major combat operations. Task Force Commander Commodore Eric Deal spoke about the formation of the task force during this morning's establishment ceremony at Camp Covington.
Over the last 6 months, 34 personnel across 6 NECC PAC units have responded to the call to stand up, forward deploy, and establish this battle staff here in Guam. The efforts of those plank owners are a main reason that Task Force 75 is ready to lean forward.
So what is it that this new task force does? 7th Fleet Commander Robert Thomas explains what they've accomplished just during the time that he calls Phase 0.
Renovated a dormitory for special needs children and battered women in the Philippines. And I heard about that from the President of the Philippines, President Aquino, when I was at the Leyte Gulf ceremony. So that's how much of an impact you have. Supplied thousands of gallons of potable water in Palau when a water pipeline was damaged.
In addition to providing crisis response throughout the Pacific, the task force also provides the 7th Fleet with explosive ordnance disposal, diving, salvage, and construction capabilities, as well as expeditionary intelligence and logistics. Betsy Brown, PNC News.
A collision between a dump truck and a pickup truck backed up traffic on Marine Corps Drive through Asan this morning. Just before 11:30 this morning, the pickup truck switched to the outer lane, causing the crash, according to Guam Police Case Agent A.S. Bueno. Both occupants of the pickup truck were transported to Naval Hospital with non-fatal injuries. Traffic was reduced to one lane in each direction, while the accident site was cleared.
The officers will be enforcing those DUI laws and checking for seat belts and registrations and whether or not anybody's under the influence of anything, regardless of whether or not they've been drinking. They could be under the influence of prescription drugs or marijuana or what have you, and they can also be charged with DUI if the officer feels that they're not able to operate that vehicle in such a manner that is required by law.
The holidays may be over, but officers will still be out on the streets patrolling Guam's roadways. Guam Police Department spokesman Officer A.J. Balahaja says officers will be conducting DUI checkpoints on all the island's major roadways over the next 3 weekends. He says that will include Marine Corps Drive, Route 4, Route 16, Route 10, Route 8, Route 14, and the stretch of roadway through Tumon. Balahaja says the checkpoints are in response to the number of traffic fatalities that occurred last year.
And the officers will be enforcing those DUI laws and checking for seat belts and registrations and whether or not anybody's under the influence of anything, regardless of whether or not they've been drinking. They could be under the influence of prescription drugs or marijuana or what have you, and they can also be charged with DUI if the officer feels that they're not able to operate that vehicle in such a manner that is required by law.
If the weather doesn't permit officers to set up checkpoints, Balahaja says they'll still be out on the roadways patrolling for drunk drivers.
All right, well, let's check in now with Blake Watson with sports.